What annoys the FCK out of you? When I click an ad because the page load jumped. I haven't had a big reaction to most of this thread. But oh my god, do I hate this one. Edit. A word because I'm a fool. When that one bit of food is stuck between my teeth. And I can feel it with my tongue. But I can't see it or pull it out with my finger. That perfect thin line of dirt that always remains after sweeping into the dustpan. Wet paper towel for the win when this happens. Editing to say thank you for these. My first ever awards. Special shout out to my 89-year-old grandma who taught me how to get every last dust particle when cleaning the house. People who get off escalators and abruptly stop and stand there so you nearly bump into them. Also people who block the sidewalk by walking slowly next to each other so you try to squeeze through on either side but there's just not enough space to pass without bumping into them so you have to actually say excuse me but they're talking with each other so you have to say it louder until you practically yell, which makes you seem unnecessary rude. When you're laying in bed about to sleep then remember you forgot to do something. When I'm walking and my socks get all bunched up under my feet. Yes. And wrinkled sheets. Holy crap. Didn't realize so many people hate wrinkly sheets too. Thanks for your upvotes and a silver award. Whoa. People who ask for my opinion and then get mad when I share it. That's not someone interested in your opinion. That's just someone using you as a soundboard to agree with. People who sit in the left lane who cruise slower than traffic. Or even worse, who match speed with someone in the right lane. Creating a traffic wall. Those are the worst. I live in California and every highway has people who cruise in the left going 60 miles per hour. It doesn't matter if the highway has 8 lanes on each side. There will be that one arsehole going 60 in the left. People who chew with their mouth open. My brother brought me to literal tears out of sheer anger and frustration once when he chewed cereal with his mouth open as we were getting ready for school. Lol. It would be easier to name the things that don't annoy the FCK out of me. Muffled bass. In the neighbor's apartment I'm sure the bass slaps but through the wall it's just loud enough to hear. I can hear it just over whatever I'm listening to with my headphones. Just turn it down like 2 ticks. Ollie. I used to live in an old house with windows that would rattle along with the constant dull whumps and uffs of bass from the upstairs neighbors. To this day that sound reawakens the rage. Not using your turn signal. Edit. Wow, this blew up. This never happens for me. You wanna know why this pisses me off? Too? Because IT's right the frick there. Like you are so lazy and selfish that you can't just press down or up so that you tell everyone else what you are doing. Slow walkers on busy streets. And people that walk down the sidewalk 5 abreast like they're in the opening montage of a F-King sitcom. Little shitty children who were never told no and will grow up to be absolutely F-King entitled. A close second. The parents who have coasted up to around the 6-year mark and are now trying to get it under control but wind up yelling in the Best Buy nearly constantly because little Emerson has absolutely no self-control and just does whatever he wants. She's mad and embarrassed and has no idea how to handle little Emerson and just keeps getting louder and more frantic. People that block the aisle in the grocery store. They generally block one side with their cart and the other with themselves. Staring blankly at the products like they were alien artifacts found on the moons of Jupiter. Bonus annoyance when they acknowledge your presence even after an excuse me and continue standing there like a donkey. Honestly. Just people in grocery stores in general. Not sure if the etiquette differs in other countries. But ours is basically every man for himself. Especially if you are concerned with social distancing and the 6-foot rule and let people pass in front of you because of this. You will be spending half your day at the store. People that smack their lips while eating. My mother-in-law does this. Almost choked to death when my wife said she sounded like a pig at the trough. A shats on the highway that fly past me doing 90-100. Get in front of me and then slow down abruptly to like 50. And it's not people in shifty cars trying for insurance money. It's people in really nice cars thinking they own the road and it happens every single night on my way to work. In general. People with no f-king awareness. Now that COVID won't allow me to go grocery shopping in an empty store at 2 AM. Going during the day is such a pain in the ass because of the other customers. People who will just shove their cart out of one aisle without looking and damn near hit you while being totally clueless. Or others that will be pushing their cart down the middle of an aisle, where you don't have room to get around either side and just stop to look at their phone. Pull that shit to the side and out of the way. People who leave their grocery carts randomly in parking lots. It drives me insane. There's a radio show called Woody Show. And two guys do a bit called Cart Knocks where they walk up and confront people who are too lazy to push the carts to the cart corrals. People who lack humility. It's such a basic social skill, yet so many people just seem to think being boastful or self-righteous is okay. When someone drives and they constantly hit the brake to slow down instead of slowing down with the accelerator. Man. I had to bite my tongue when a friend was teaching his girlfriend to drive. No. Your foot should always be pressing down on the accelerator or the brake. You see those round things under the car? Those are wheels. There is zero reason not to coast up to a stoplight from a reasonable distance. When people want to talk to me in the morning or while I'm eating. Like damn. Can I get some peace? I wanna be with myself for a bit. My husband is a morning person. Also he takes ADD meds first thing. And gets up an hour earlier than I do. First thing I do in the morning is go sit on the back porch all by myself and try to wake up. Quite often he follows me out there and talks. No idea what he says. Because I don't hear a word of it. The way my girlfriend shops. She'll grab a million items to look at them, then she'll give them to the cashier to put back. She'll open packages even after workers tell her not to. She'll unfold clothing and then just drop them on the floor when she's done looking at them. I can't tell you how many dirty looks I've gotten because of it. It's mortifying. People interrupting me while I'm talking. This is for sure number one for me. It's not just people interrupting me. I get bugged listening to conversations where people interrupt each other. It just strikes me as so very rude. That presidential debate was like having a 60-minute root canal. People who flick cigarette butts everywhere. Why do they think it's not littering? It's not even biodegradable. One time I was at a birthday party and this gross looking dude flicks his cigarette into the host's neighbor's yard. I said, "Yo. Did you just litter that cigarette butt into that guy's yard?" Double quote. To which he replied, "OUHH. Yeah. That's just something I do." Double quote. Grown-ass men in huge trucks riding my back bumper in traffic. Mostly other people driving. Leaving your brights on. Not using your turn signal. Sitting in the left lane when you're not passing other people. Not staying in your lane on a dual lane turn. Leaving your brights on. Seriously. FCKU. Not turning your headlights on at night. Doing 10 miles per hour below the speed limit. Happy people in the morning. I don't know what mental illness that is, but I want nothing to do with it. It's not so much the happiness that bugs me as it is the involvement. I felt so bad one day because this one lady I worked with was a morning person. And I felt like she would just ask me one question after another. Like an interrogation. But in a nice way. And I had to ask her to just give me some time. It wasn't that she was being mean or anything. I'm just not usually all there for a few hours at the beginning of the day. I was fine later that day. And we chatted. And we worked fine every day after that. Just give me until like 8 before we start the conversating. Pathetic people on here trying to start an argument when nothing you've said would even incite that. I could very well be sharing an experience I had on a boat and some Rondo Fedora tipping actually person with a PhD and Wikipedia hurls out of nowhere that it's impossible for me to ever have been on a boat. You can't win with these people. People who always look for something to complain about. Everyone needs to vent from time to time. But sheesh. Look for the positives in situations. Adults who bully teens for fishing, skateboarding, etc. Just because they need to feel in power. They never say shit to grown men. People turning on their blinkers to turn left or right at the very last second. It's annoying more so when there's no left turning lane. They've been sitting idle at the light and signal to turn left once the light turns green. Gah. The parking situation at college campuses. You have to pay for an expensive parking tag that limits you to very cramped and specific areas. Otherwise it's pay at the meter. Some that don't even work. Not just that, but it's always a competition to even get a spot. Goddamn, I already pay out the wazoo to go there. It's complete horseshit. Edit. Words are hard. People who don't use their turn signals. You're potentially putting my life at risk. FCKU. I nearly got ran over by this before when I left school. Lucky I look both ways while crossing or I'd be dead. Head teacher yelled at this guy for a solid minute though, so all was well. People that actively believe wild shit like conspiracy theories without doing any legitimate research or using common sense. People that can't be bothered doing the job that they are paid to do. When you're 8 hours into a 12-hour shifts and you see someone going for a second lunch break or the 15th coffee or smoke break for the day. It really irritates the FCK out of me. Especially if you decide to take the same amount of break time as them. And they sneak off to the boss and badmouth you for being lazy because you're not working while they're having a break. When someone isn't listening. And I have to repeat myself numerous times. When someone just starts talking to me without trying to get my attention first, so I don't even realize they're talking until halfway through. That the people closest to me have been lying. I don't know what they've lied about and what they've been honest about. And I fear the most valued relationship I had was a lie. This is a new one that I's only come to realize because of the pandemic, but I hate when people are doing something else while you talk to them. I have a manager who always wears his headset and starts walking out to grab a smoke while you're talking to him during a meeting. This means I have to put up with hearing the sound of his footsteps. All the doors opening and closing. The sound of the wind blowing into the mic when it's windy out, and then if I'm lucky there's some leaf blowers to add to my misery. It's not just the sound, but the fact that he doesn't want to pay attention to what I'm saying makes me feel like I'm forcing him to talk with me. I had an ex who used to this but would actually start having eye-roll conversations with people while we were talking on the phone. So while I'm telling her something I would hear a random "Hi" out of nowhere or a "How are you?" It's so frustrating. I know it's like a first world problem, but I can't stand it. When people think it's funny to trigger people on sensitive topics using topic specific jokes and then make that person feel guilty for being pissed and calling them uptight. When you're driving at night. There's barely any traffic on the road and traffic lights just have to turn red at the last possible second. Like to where you either have to stop when there's nobody coming from the side streets and you're on the main drag. Or run the red light. Hearing someone eat. No turn signals. Group texts. Anyone who talks to me while I'm working. Ravers. Astrology. People who think smoking pot makes them interesting. Clutter. Family Guy episodes after season 3. The show Friends. Timothy Chalamet. Reality shows. Facebook. Children. I'm just gonna stop here. I have several hundred more things I could add. People who don't understand basic hygiene. Honestly. If you have no mental condition or other problem, no access to water, etc., you have no excuse to go into public near people and force others to smell your disgusting unbathed scent. PPL who post simple questions to social media that they'd find the answer to in 1 millisecond using a search engine instead. Anyone know if X store has Y product? Fucking call the store. Close bracket. Anyone know what time the library opens? Fucking Google it. Close bracket. etc. Mispronunciation of my name for some reason does that. See, this used to piss me off too. But my granddad developed dementia and likes to sing my name pronouncing it incorrectly. So now when a stranger mispronounces my name I just think of that and it makes me smile. Going into work and as soon as I enter the place, people ask me a question. Would you please let me take off my damned coat? I'd also like to get to my computer and log on because I can't answer your question until then. Also, it's 10 minutes before my shift. How about waiting until I'm on the clock? Oh. And let me drink some soda first so I can get caffeinated since it's way before noon. Smartphone zombies and people who just lack general spatial awareness. In the supermarket the other day 3 separate people just stopped dead in their tracks to look at their phones. On my way outside a girl was either taking a lot of selfies or live streaming herself when she walked directly into the path of a cyclist who was also staring at his phone whilst riding. He saw her at the last minute and nearly collided with a mother pushing a pram, who was also staring at her phone. It boggles the mind. Spoiled children. Babies crying. Someone talking to me when I have ear headphones on. Cashier talking to someone they know while I and other people wait in the line. People with kids who think they know child-free people better than child-free people know themselves. I don't care if you think X age is too young to know you'll never want kids just because you had kids. I know I never want kids and that's that. Also I don't care if having kids changed you, made you a better person, matured you or whatever else. To see if that will happen to you too is not a good reason to have kids. Trying to have a conversation with me from the next room. Yelling and shouting. Call or send a text or get off your ass and come in the same room I'm in. Just stop f***ing yelling at me.